Hello and welcome to Kolam Podu's Create, Combine and Construct series. Now, if this is the first time you're coming across a video from our channel, here's a little something you need to know. Kolam Podu is a happy project. It aims at reviving and demystifying this wonderful South Indian traditional art form, which is more than just floor art. Create, Combine and Construct series is one of our very interesting projects where we take on a grid and we explore various design possibilities and come up with constructions sticking to the rules of Sikku Kolam. Now, if you want to know the rules of Sikku Kolam, there is an independent video for that. I will attach it with this video. But before we get into the main show, I would urge you to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. You surely want to be a part of some interesting stuff, don't you? Let's create columns, combine possibilities and construct relationships. Shall we? Now in this episode, we're focusing on border columns. Borders are a very unexplored area, and there are typically about 5-10 designs that you see being replicated pretty much everywhere. So I thought, why not start with something that is less explored? By exploring the unexplored border designs, I want you to appreciate how many possibilities there actually are. It's all about using various design principles and the rules of Sikku Kolam. Now, quickly let me explain my approach to these 9 grids. Since this is a 2x9 grid, it lends me an opportunity to be able to divide them into smaller grids. Kolam is very modular by structure. What we mean by modules, you can take one small design, keep replicating them either by mirroring them or by rotating them, and by combining them, you create a longer pattern. That same principle is what I have used while creating these border designs. In today's episode, we're going to start with border columns, as I said, and we're taking 2 rows of 9, which is a 2x9 grid, to create, combine and construct border column designs. Now, the first solution is a very simple one. This is a design that I'm sure most of you would have seen drawn in your homes. This is just lots of V's drawn, put together, and then you circle it on top. You know, sometimes you don't need complicated designs. These easy designs are so pleasing to the eye already, don't you think? Simple V's all the way. Now, this particular design doesn't require just a 2x9 grid. As long as it's a 2 times how many ever dots, you can still pull off this design. Loops and loops and loops. You can never get tired of them, can you? And ta-da! We are almost done, and we're done. Now, for the second solution, I'm actually dividing this 9x2 grid into 2 parts. So, there's 4x2, 4x2 on either side, and then there is a 1x2 in the middle. We create a vertical V or an half A, and we create this design. The left and the right grid will have the exact same design, and they are just mirrored and connected by this middle point. The principle of mirroring comes into play here, and one of the reasons I'm kind of drawing it symmetrically so that you understand how this design actually flows. It would be a lot easier to replicate. Now, you can consider this entire border column as one grid which you can keep replicating, or you can take one part, which is the 4x2, and keep replicating them. You either want to mirror them, or you would want to keep recreating the same design, and probably at some point you can mirror it, or you can finish it differently. Supposing you're drawing on either sides of a room, or either sides of a table or a countertop, this design can be used. Now the third solution, similar to the second, also uses the principle of mirroring. We're creating a certain design on the left hand side which will be replicated on the right hand side. However, to make it easy for you to understand, I'm kind of drawing it, but from the center, so you understand that this loop that I just drew, that's holding this entire design together. Do your borders have to be only a single line border? Not necessarily. You can always play with them. One can absolutely explore so many possibilities. Like, see, for example, I have let those two dots empty and I can just beautifully join them this way. Or I could have just drawn two circles and they would still work well. Or maybe not, because you still have to make sure that the other two dots were covered on all sides, right? The rules of Sikku Kolam are so beautiful, yet it lends itself to such possibilities. I really like this one, don't you? Well, in this solution, I decided to actually split this grid into three parts, three modules, that is 3x2. So I'm going to come up with the same design on the left and right hand side corner, and the center grid is going to actually hold them together. Very simple design, but you will see how beautiful it finally becomes. So the first solution I came up with, right, which was the V's, the V and you loop it in. That's exactly what we're doing here. Just look at how beautiful this looks. The intention behind showcasing it to you the way we do, which is a top view as well as a front view, is for you to understand at one point of time you get to see how pretty the kolam looks in two completely different perspectives. Not a bad idea, no? Team effort as always. Look at this beauty. In this solution, the idea is to actually break this grid down into two parts, which is a 4x2 and a 1x2. We're using the design principle of mirroring like we have in the past, and we're going to be recreating this design. We're coming up on the left hand side, on the right hand side as well, and then combine these two designs right in the center. Now let us suppose you're going to be drawing this design in a stairway or in a space where you're going to be drawing borders on either side. You probably don't have to mirror them. You could probably be taking one direction, running it through, and then mirror the same thing on the other side. That might also complete it. So it completely depends on where you're going to draw, how you're going to draw, and how you like the finished product. However, see what I've come up with. Very pretty, don't you think? I really like this design. So I'm taking the lead from the previous design solution, and I'm going to create that same design in the corner and take the first design solution and draw it right in the center. Well, that's the idea. Let's see how this turns out. So when you're constructing a design, when you want it to be symmetrical, one of the smart things to do is to keep drawing them from all directions so that you know that it can't go wrong, or even if it does go wrong, you can kind of catch it early and think of solutions. There we got our symmetry in place. And of course, as always, a small mistake on my side. I'm so excited about drawing these now that somewhere I'm hurrying up. Probably need to slow down and enjoy the process. Ta-da! Oh, I love it. This solution is what I've probably seen drawn the most. However, trust me, you can get completely lost in this design. It's just parallel lines, okay? But if you don't crack it right, you can just get lost. My God, I think I did this 2 times myself, though I've drawn this design like a million times. So what will happen is, you just saw me struggling there, no? My hands almost turned into a loop, and then I reminded myself that's not the design property of this particular design. Do not underestimate how complicated this is, though it's one of the most drawn designs. Ta-da! I did it this time! Could have been prettier, no? But it's okay. So here I'm going to again use the V loop and look at how we can actually create a design. So the V's are on and the loop just comes up. Sometimes I wish I didn't rush. And the V again, the loop gets complete. It can get confusing sometimes, people, and this happens to all of us. Loop it. And a small twist. Loop with a small twist. And why loop again? Why don't we just draw a petal finish? Pretty, isn't it? So in this design, I'm again splitting it into 3 parts of 3x2s and joining them in the center. See, not always do you need to make sure that all the dots are covered. I'm not trying to break a rule here before you mistake me, but I'm asking you to think of, supposing you're drawing this for like a festival or a function, or even, on your dining table because you're serving a lot of people, you might want to take into consideration candles, flowers that you might want to place in the middle of a column. So if you do have these ideas, sometimes you can reverse engineer the process and plan your design accordingly, which is what I've done here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave 2 dots symmetrically, however, so that you can either finish them off as just columns, like a circle around them, or you can remove them later and use that space for enhancements. So did you like these designs? If yes, please be generous and press the like button and leave me a comment, because feedback always helps and motivates. And go ahead and share them with whoever you think might find this content useful. We are available on different social media platforms. Here are the details, and if you want to reach me, I'm always just one message away. You can either reach me on Instagram and YouTube, because these are the 2 platforms where I'm most active. I would really be happy to see how you recreate these designs. So go ahead and share them with me, or share them on your profile, and you can always tag me. I'm quickly reminding you to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let us create columns by combining possibilities and constructing relationships. Life is beautiful if we choose for it to be. So until then, Kolam Podu.